These are the so-called healthy trends that are actually wrecking women over 40, and no one wants to talk about it. Hello, gorgeous girl. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Tracy. I'm 50 years old, and I have been a certified Pilates instructor and personal trainer and holistic health coach, now combined for over 25 years. And wellness is amazing. And it's one thing that I love is seeing this boom of wellness as something that we're really taking seriously here. However, there are some trends that just quite honestly are not great, especially for women over 40 and especially for women that are in perimenopause or menopause. So let's dive in. Oh, and real quick, before we get started, no one thing is going to be great for everyone. That's one thing that I've learned in my 25 years of experience, so you do not have to get mad at me. If you are doing something and it works for you and it makes you feel amazing, we love that. We fully support it. But there is science and research and data that really shows that for most women, these are not gonna work. So intermittent fasting is hugely popular, and there's a lot of supporting data and research that shows that intermittent fasting can really support your insulin sensitivity, inflammation, and even oxidative stress. So all of that sounds like amazing, especially this age and stage, something we all need, right? Well, not so fast, my friend. Fasting actually works better for men, and you really cannot fast the same way that maybe your husband, your partner, or your neighbor can do it. So for women that are over 40, fasting regularly can actually cause your cortisol levels to raise. It can cause more stress on your body. It can disrupt your estrogen and your progesterone, and that can all lead to increased belly fat, poor sleep, and even anxiety. Now, I used to intermittent fast many years ago when I was in my 30s and even into my early 40s. It worked for me, it made me feel great. And if that's the case for you, awesome, do it. But here's the thing. After I had my daughter, my body was like a full stop, no girl, no, this is not for you. It was just not working for me. I really felt like I was white knuckling it until I could eat breakfast, and it just was not it anymore. And it also, the results, they were just not working anymore. Now, here's the thing. You can do sort of what I like to call like a light fast, which is just have your dinner a little bit earlier, around like 6, maybe 7. I'm sorry to our Spanish friends that like eating dinner at 10 p.m. And then try and just go like a good 12 hours, which is actually really easy. I don't know about you, but I am not waking up and having breakfast at 6 o'clock in the morning, which if I stop eating at like 6:30, just by doing that, it's already a good 12-hour fast. So I am just naturally doing about a 14-hour fast by eating dinner a little bit earlier, and there's no stress on my body. I don't feel like I'm white knuckling it, and I'm actually listening to my body's own hunger cues, which is key, especially when we're talking about perimenopause or menopause. So intermittent fasting for me right now, it's a full no. Let's talk about cold plunges. You cannot open social media now without seeing someone sitting in their cold plunge or about to jump into a cold plunge. They reduce inflammation, they increase your dopamine, and can really help with your circulation. Sounds amazing, right? But again, because we are women, these can actually, again, cause more stress for your body and might not be this one-size-fits-all solution that we're all looking for. So men can actually cold plunge and see better results because their bodies just naturally handle stress better. They don't have as many hormonal fluctuations as we have. So for women, cold plunging can actually, again, increase your stress, throw your hormones off balance, spike your cortisol, even mess with your sleep cycles and your blood pressure. I have zero desire to throw myself into a cold plunge. Now, when I'm at a spa and there's like the different temperature pools, I might do like a quick like dip in, but it's not like covered in ice and like something that I'm going to do regularly. So again, if it's working for you and you love it and you're not feeling stress and your body is getting the results from your workouts, your food, and your nutrition, awesome. But for a lot of women, it's just not a great idea. Now, here's one that years ago I used to feel kind of bad about because I had zero desire to do it. And that is like the 5 a.m. miracle morning, getting your day started while it's still dark outside. I don't want to do that. I really just don't want to do that. I've never wanted to do that before I had kids, and now especially now that I have a daughter, I have zero desire to get up any earlier that I unfortunately have to. Here's the thing, sleep is gold for hormones, and we went through a period of about a year where my daughter was just not sleeping. In fact, last night, she came into my bed last night, and so I'm feeling a little bit draggy today. I can feel that I'm not like at a 10, and sleep is just everything. And so I had to really have a good talking to myself that it was okay to not do a 6 a.m. workout while it's still dark outside, because quite honestly, my body needed the sleep even more than the workout. And here's something that maybe you need to hear right now. Trading rest for hustle can actually do way more harm than good. Rest and recovery is gold for our body, for our hormones, and even getting the results that you want. Like if you're on a fitness or a weight loss journey, the rest is just as important, if not more important, than the work. Now listen, I'm not saying that you don't need to exercise or do things to really protect your body. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be eating healthy, but it doesn't mean that you have to get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning in order to feel like a productive human being. If you're anything like me, I don't want to have to force myself to get out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning. But what I actually do want is to wake up and naturally feel energized, feel focused, and feel like that best version of me. Now, by now, you've probably heard me talking about MTE, which stands for more than energy, and that is exactly what it does. This is hands down my favorite supplement in my entire stack. It's the one thing, no matter if I'm traveling, I'm on vacation, my life is crazy, it is the first thing that I think of in the morning, and I don't even drink caffeinated coffee in the morning anymore. It's like an all-in-one for energy, focus, cognition, moods, and there's even fiber in it, so it can help support our digestion. I think for menopausal women, this is like liquid gold. Yes, it looks a little bit like pee-pee, but it really does what it says it's going to do. I've been taking it for over a year now, and this is something that just really does what it says it's going to do. And the other reason why I love it, you don't have to wait so long to feel the effects. For me, it was like within the first, second time of taking it, I was like, whoa, I feel alert, I feel focused, I feel just like that version of me that I want to show up in the world. If you want to wake up in the morning and feel ready to go, ready to start your day, and really like that best version of yourself, and you definitely don't want to be setting your alarm for 5 a.m., you got to check out MTE. I'll leave all the information linked down below in the description box. This is liquid gold. It truly is. And I have a special discount for you. If you use code Tracy Campoli, you'll save 15%. You got to check this out. Juice and juice cleanses are something that I have avoided for over a decade now. You know, I remember there was a time when I used to teach Pilates, like kind of corporate. I would come in and do in-house Pilates for some corporations. And there were always times when like all the girlies would get like their juice cleanses delivered to them. They all felt like crap. Now, I'm not saying that fruits and vegetables are bad for you, but why I do not like juice is it strips all of the natural fiber away. So yes, it's naturally occurring, but you are getting so many grams of sugar in a day if you are on a juice-only cleanse. I mean, think about it. If you're having like 3 juices a day, you're having almost 100 grams of sugar. There's no fiber, there's no protein. That can mess with your digestive system, and it can even have muscle loss happen. We need protein in order to keep our muscle mass. And I don't know about you, but doing something like that, I just feel like kind of lightheaded. Like I don't feel like I'm clear. I don't have that clarity. It's just not a good thing. And there's even been some research that shows that juice-only cleanses can disrupt your gut microbiome. And I don't have to remind you that our gut is really like our second brain. So I do love a smoothie. I'm a huge fan of a smoothie, and I have a smoothie pretty much every day. But the reason why I love a smoothie is I add protein to it, and also the fiber is all intact. So by adding some chia seeds along with dark leafy greens and some other frozen vegetables and, you know, minimal fruits, especially berries, you're getting a high fiber, high protein, quick and easy meal that really can support your life, your lifestyle, and your goals. So before we keep going here, I just want to thank you so much for being here. You know, our community is growing. We are over 350,000 women across the globe that are part of this community. So I just want to thank you so, so much. If you haven't already, tap on that subscribe button. It's the best way to support me and my amazing team to create these great free videos for you every single week. Make sure that you tap on the bell notification so you always know when you have a video that goes live. And if you're liking this content, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Now, this one is controversial. Raise your hand if every single time you open social media, you see, you gotta lift heavy, you gotta lift heavy, you gotta lift heavy weights, especially if you're a woman in perimenopause or menopause. Well, here's the thing, my friends. You cannot only do heavy weights if you want to look and feel your best if you're over 45. Now, I've been a trainer for over 25 years. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do strength or resistance training. You absolutely should. It should be a part of your fitness program. But with us being hammered about these heavy weights incessantly, what happens? We think all or nothing, that's the only thing we should be doing. And then we're forgetting about mobility, flexibility, our cardiovascular health. And that's exactly why I created Total Body Transformation. It is the go-to fitness program for women over 40 because it gives you a well-rounded fitness program where, yes, you are getting some strategic cardio. You're definitely getting strength and resistance training. We're focusing on mobility. We're focusing on flexibility. And the best part is it can be done in 30 minutes or less. So if the only thing you're doing is lifting really heavy weights, you're probably feeling joint pain, you're probably feeling some overuse, and you're missing out on flexibility, which I don't have to tell you, it starts going with age. You know, I used to be a dancer. I could stretch all day long and I felt like, you know, I could like kick my leg up in the air and practically give myself a black eye because no problem. Now at 50 years old, I can't get my nose to my knee. Not on my left leg. On my right leg, I can. I can still touch the floor, but these are things that we must preserve if we want to really age well, really be healthy, and really just stay vibrant and have some element of youthfulness in age. I have to tell you this. So I was scrolling on social media the other day, and I found this woman who's 71 years old. I shared her on my Instagram stories. And in fact, I'll leave a little clip here and tag her. She's 71 years old. She's doing burpees. She's doing all this like crazy flexibility, mobility, and she literally looks like a 45-year-old's body. Plus, also big shout out to my Pilates instructor, Terry, who she's 20 years older than me. The woman is incredible. I love it so much when she demonstrates the exercises because I'm like, that's inspiration. So we need to have a well-rounded fitness program. If you want to check out Total Body Transformation, I also have a special discount only for my YouTube family. So this is your sign. Like if you're wanting to really take it to the next level and you don't want to spend a lot of time or a lot of money at an expensive gym, check it out in the description box below. This was a big craze a few years ago, and I do still see some people doing it, but celery juice. Again, it's juice. The Kardashians made it hugely popular. The medical medium made it hugely popular. And then, of course, we found out later, was he even a doctor? Did he have any credentials, or was he just like a marketing genius? No shade on him. I feel like, you know, people can share what they want to share, but I hated it. I actually even had a doctor recommend it for me, and I was like, are you kidding me? I did it for a few days, but number one, it was just not sustainable. I don't like juicing, and I was like, why am I drinking this like magical drink when it's your overall choices if you're looking to reduce inflammation that are going to make the biggest difference? Now, I'm not saying you can't ever enjoy a celery juice. Go ahead if you love it, but do not think that it is like this miracle cure for women, especially over 40. It's likely not. You know, though there's all these claims when it comes to celery juice about detoxing, gut health, and glowing skin, and the truth is, it's mostly hype. Now, this is a sneaky one. So we're all told, 10,000 steps a day. If you want to have longevity, if you want to be healthy, if you want to preserve your bone density and your muscle mass, especially over 45, you have got to do 10,000 steps a day. Well, my friends, that is actually been found out to be a completely arbitrary number. Now, do you need to get active? Do you need to get steps in? Yes, duh, of course, yes. But the 10,000 steps, it's actually just kind of made up. And I think they kind of did it, and I get it, to just sort of make it like a nice, round, easy number. But the research is actually showing that even if you're in the 7,000 to 8,000 steps a day, you are good. And that's going to be really increasing your NEAT, which is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is basically just a way of making sure, are you active? Are you not just sitting in a chair all day? And are you really preserving your body so that as we age, we really look and feel our best? Now, this next one, again, is something that I know a lot of people are doing, and I'm actually not against it, but I'm against something about it. And that is using GLP-1 or GLP-2 medication as a miracle fix and the one thing that you're going to do. Almost every single person that I know is on a microdose of a GLP-1 or a GLP-2. And I do think, as the research is coming out, there's incredible benefits of taking these medications. However, you must habit change or you will get, sorry to be crass, skinny fat. I've seen it, and it's not a good thing, because if you are losing weight and you are not doing things and having habits to preserve your muscle tone, making sure that you're doing some strength and resistance training, making sure that you're eating adequate protein, you will lose your muscle mass, and that's not a good thing. And it's a really dangerous thing, especially with age. So, you know, before it used to be like, I'm looking for the magic pill, the magic pill. Now it's just like the magic needle. But I can tell you, you have to, especially if you want to get the best results. And for a lot of people, especially us in America, these medications are expensive. I'm talking like $1,000, $1,200 for a vial. So if you want to, you know, be able to get off of these medications, or at least really, really reduce your dosage, you've got to create those healthy habits. I've got tons of videos here. I have a whole video about GLP-1s, and just dive into my channel, because all of the stuff that we talk about here on my channel are the things that you want to do even if you are on a GLP-1 journey. Again, zero judgment. I kind of think that in like 10 years, probably 80% of people will be on some kind of a microdose of this, because of the research that's coming out for brain health, for inflammation. It's things that we quite honestly all need. However, you got to do those habits in order to really get that like secret sauce, and that's your magic pill, or the habits. Now, I've talked about this a little bit recently on my channel, but I have dramatically reduced my alcohol consumption. My body just doesn't want it anymore. It cannot take it, and I hate that feeling of waking up feeling cloudy, feeling draggy, and just not feeling like the best version of myself. So I do love the fact that like almost every restaurant that you go to is gonna have some kind of a mocktail or an alcohol-free version on their menu. That's awesome, right? Maybe not so much, but here's the thing. Most of those drinks are just sugar bombs. They're all gonna have simple syrup in it, maybe gonna have juice in it, and you're better off just having like a club soda with a little slice of lime. Maybe have them be like, can you throw in a sprig of rosemary there if you wanna get fancy? But the truth of the matter is, I don't know if you're like me, but I find that if I just were to say like, hey, could you give me like a champagne glass or like a coupe glass so that I can put in some sparkling water and get that feeling of like I'm having like a special moment, but I'm really just drinking sparkling water, that's like the biggest hack out there. So yes, we love that more people are actually choosing to go alcohol free or really reduce their alcohol consumption, but don't be fooled by all those mocktails. And this next one is something that I see a lot of people doing, and I just feel like, come on, really? Do you need that? There's so many tracking devices out there. The rings, even the beds that track your sleep. I mean, you name it, there's something out there that can track. And I'm not saying data can't help us. Data can help all of us, right? Because then we really see like what's working, what's not. However, you will never see me wearing one of those like tracking devices. I feel like one thing that we're forgetting about is the best guru for your own body is you. It's your body, and no one's gonna understand how you feel more than you. I don't need a ring or a tracking device to tell me that I didn't sleep well. I don't need a ring or a tracking device to tell me, that I haven't recovered well or whatever, right? I really think that we're getting away from trusting our intuition and trusting our own body. Look, I love the devices, I love AI, I love, letting the robots kind of be in our life. I'm a huge, huge fan. However, I think that there's gonna be a bit of a pendulum swing into really grounding and really connecting with yourself. And that, in my opinion, is a great thing. I don't want one of those devices because, quite honestly, I know myself and I'm competitive, especially with myself. And then every day it's going to be like, did I sleep well enough? Did I sleep well enough today? And I just don't need that pressure. So if you need a little permission slip to go a little bit easier on the tracking, this is it for you. Listen to your own body and do all the things that we know to do. So that's what I've got for you today. There's so many wellness trends. I love it on one hand because people are focusing more on wellness. We're all really committed, and we really know that when we feel good, we look better, we show up in the world better. However, there's so many things out there that are just hype or that can be harmful. And there's often this kind of this is the one thing that you have to do, especially if you're at this age. And that's just not realistic. So let's get active in the comments. I really feel like we're gonna have a lot of chatty chats in there. I'm not telling you if something that you're doing is working to not do it, but just because it works for your best friend doesn't mean that it should work for you. I always tell my students and my clients, it has to work for you, for your life and your lifestyle. And that's what creates really sustainable habits and sustainable results. So if you want to keep hanging with me here on YouTube, check out this video next, and I'll see you there.